Okay, welcome back to math class. Yesterday we talked about systems of equations, and I gave you one way to solve systems of equations by graphing. Today we're going to look at another way to solve systems of equations, and that's called substitution. Now we've talked about substitution in the past, just a little bit, where we have one number and we can substitute it in for a variable. You guys should remember that. How this is going to work today when you're given two equations is, suppose your equations look like this, and I have y equals 5 and y equals x plus 4. Now if you remember right from yesterday, the way to solve a system of equations is to figure out what ordered pair is true for both equations. Now just looking at these two equations, what I can already tell off the top of my head is that I have y equals 5 right here. Now if I know what y equals, then I can take this 5 here and substitute it in for y in this equation. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to say when y equals 5, then 5 equals x plus 4, right? And now I can solve for x. We have x plus 4, so to undo what's happening to x, I'm going to go minus 4. And if I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other side. So I get 5 minus 4 is 1. And this 4 minus 4 becomes 0, so it cancels out, and we bring our x down. So what we've learned here is that when y equals 5, x equals 1. So when I put it in my ordered pair, you remember ordered pairs are always x comma y. So I'm going to put my ordered pair as 1 comma 5, because I'm saying when x is 1, y is 5. When y is 5, x is 1. Seems pretty simple. If I want to check to see if I did this right, if this is actually the right place that our two graphs intersect, I can still graph them to make sure that that's the correct point. So let's check our answers. Let me draw my graph. Now you guys remember that this is the y axis, and this one is the x axis. Let me finish making my graph. Okay, so first things first, I have to graph y equals 5, this equation y equals 5. Now if I don't have an x on that side of the equation, what I'm saying is no matter what my x value is, my y will always equal 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to where y equals 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm just going to draw a horizontal line. Because I'm basically saying no matter what x ends up being, no matter which x value I choose to plug in, there's not an x in the equation, so y will always be 5. Okay, now let's graph y equals x plus 4. Now our y-intercept for that equation is 4. So I'm going to come up to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to find my slope. We just have x, so what we know when we just have an x is that there's a 1 there, like 1 times x is itself. So our slope is going to be 1 over 1. So I'm going to go up 1 over 1. And then I'm going to draw my line. Connect the dots. Now we can see that the place where they intersect is at 1, comma 5. Which is what we got with our substitution equation, by substituting 5 into this equation. So since those match, we know that this is right, and we're done with the problem. Sound good?